Well, hello, good day, and welcome back to the Certified Jordan channel. This is episode 2, part 2 of the scooter engine build, and this is just some progress made on the previous episode. We are starting this episode with a proper tool and garage clean, and then we will put the motor back on the bench and start with the driveline or gearbox side of the build for this episode. Alright, this is the gearbox side, the CVT side of this scooter engine. This is the front of the engine, this is the back where the rear tire goes on. This is the clutch. Now, just to quickly highlight this, at the back of this rotating disc, you'll see this one is rotating, this one is standing still. So this actually opens up and closes, and it changes the position of this belt. All right. So this is the variator, and this one goes on the front axle of the crankshaft. This is just a Kickstarter assembly thing. Whilst we are busy with that, a friend of mine borrowed my grease yesterday and he put it here somewhere, and I don't know where did it is. Extremely tall, this guy. So guys, let me just quickly use my dirt bike lift to see where he put my copper slip. I cannot see it. Oh, man. I have a new one, but I do not necessarily want to open the new box. But it seems I'm going to have to. Okay, so here's my new copper compound. What I want to do is I just want to smear the insides of these little gears with some copper slip, as you never get in here. However, I'm just going to put that amount in because this belt, this drive belt, actually weighs quite a lot. And as it wears, it makes this black belt dust all over everything. So, if I put too much copper slip in there, I'm going to cause problems. Alright, so now this gasket must still go in here, and this gasket must go in before we do anything else. So I'm going to take this variator off to the side and see if I can get this engine to stand here by any way. Let me get that wheel again. That wheel is it's not big enough. You know what? Let's see if this old can of pre-wipe is going to help me. Now, what needs to happen here, you'll see the gasket is in place there. This belt needs to go in here. But it's not so simple, because if that belt is there, I won't be able to get the variator on. So this whole pulley thing needs to actually open up. Needs to open up for me to be able to put the belt in there. But I think I'm going to try and do that without the gasket. And hopefully I'll be able to get the gasket back on after I've put the belt on. However, just to mention, there was no gasket like this on this engine. There's no gasket. So, might not even really be necessary. But what I think I'm going to do now, I think before I leave this engine on its side, just see if you can still see. To bring you down a bit. You see there? It's opening up. So I wanted to open up so I can get that belt in there. Guys, this is no easy task. Okay. Okay. I think that will be good enough. Let me lift you up again. Now, let's see if I will be able and yes, I will be able to get this gasket on. Variated time. Okay, so let me show you this whole thing. It consists of this little cup, then these round metal things. So if you look at the inside of this variator, the belt is going, it's going on there, then the belt is going to ride on this. All right. So these little things needs to go in here like that. You see that? Maybe let me help you out with a bit of light in here. Can you see that? And they loose. Right. Then this cup can only go on one way. You'll see. Can only go on that way. Right. So this cup is now going to go on here. Okay. Then we have the shaft. Guys, you need to be extremely careful with oil and lubrication inside this whole section here, because you do not want anything to slip or anything to become a grinding paste because of the belt wear and all of that. Then we have this top section that's geared. So you'll see the end of this shaft. Can you see that shaft? The end of that shaft? That is geared as well. So that's going to go on there. All right. With a washer and a nut. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get the belt to lie there in its position. Let me bring you in closer and let me lift you up higher. Okay. So I'm going to hold the belt. You see, if I bring the belt in, it gives me more space there versus that. So I'm going to bring the belt in. I'm going to get that onto its place. Just see how deep it went in. Put that in its place. let's put a dab. Come on, little Loctite. I think my Loctite's eventually finished. Yeah, no guys, there's nothing left in here. Alright, so now it's time to open up the new one. Got some new thread locker here. Just wipe my oily paws. This one needs to be cut. Just a drop. Okay. Okay, let's get the 17 socket here. Let's get the impact. That is tight. Now let's get this gasket into place. Guys, just look at the inside. What I want to show you here, look at this. Okay, I'm going to quickly wash this thing. I can't put this. This is all beltware. Just look at how caked on. Just look at how caked on it is here. Just look at how thick that is, eh? This is all normal beltware. So let me quickly wash this thing, then I'll be back with you. Guys, I've spent a quick 3 minutes just cleaning this thing out. No need to go crazy with cleaning solutions and things on that. I'm just going to put a bit of assembly lube only on this little edge. As this little shaft, it's not spinning or anything, but it needs to ride inside of that bush. So just a nice clean, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, and then we can put this thing back to where it belongs, trying to still align the gasket here as well. As I mentioned, I honestly don't think most people and workshops actually put this gasket in. There was no gasket on here to start off with. There's a little bell there. Why? The belt is out of the way. Everything is out of the way. What is it catching? Is it catching on this collar? Must that collar be there? I've got this collar here, but it doesn't really fit anywhere. However, no. Here it fits right there. That's where it fits. Okay. Just trying to see what this category is doing here. gasket is a difficult thing because it moves around and doesn't really want to stay put. Okay, let's see now. First of all, the Kickstarter shaft must go over, then the belt must go in on both sides, like that. There's a dowel on this edge here on the front. Here at the back it's basically home. What bothers me more is that this side it's like there's something in the way. But let me get my rubber mallet and just try to see without forcing anything. There you go. No force required. Let's there you go. And that is in its place. Now let's see the bolts. That bolt's there, that one's there, this one goes there, this one goes there, this one goes there, this one goes, no it doesn't go, or does it? I think it actually does. Yeah, yes. Okay, let me see. Where's the rest of the bolts? We have this that needs to go on there. If I remember correctly, this one for the clutch cable goes there. Sorry, not guys, there's no clutch cable on this one, sorry. I'm talking about the rear brake cable. And I'm wrong, it doesn't go there, this one goes there. There's a little casing here. Where did this one go? For the life of me, I cannot remember. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna mount everything, but if we assemble it, I'll take my time. If we put it back in the scooter, because this is most definitely supposed to be a cover for something, and you can see it's actually done its job. So we don't want to just leave that out. It needs to go back in. But this rear brake cable, I'm almost sure it was in here. Or was it that one? Let's put it in there. Okay. So for this one, let's grab the 8T handle. Just quickly make our way around this entire casing. Let's take this engine. let's flip it on its side. Let's do the side. Let's open it up. Let's clean this off. And let's feed this newly built engine some proper Motul 4000 motion. Put that back. Clean all of this off nicely. Now, this engine has a brace that goes over the entire thing like that. Now, I just want to see, how did this brace go in? And where does it live? It lives like this. Okay, so that's the front of the engine. It lives like this, and it has this bolt. Just look at this. My fingers are mostly clean, right? So there's no way in which I'll be able to sleep at night if I put this filthy thing back in there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put that right into the front of my drill. Get my little green Scotch-Brite pad. Move it up. And now, because we know that this is a problem and this thing does tend to rust, we are going to treat it as if it is a wheel axle. We're going to give it a thin layer of copper slip. Not because we are ever going to reap the benefits of this, but I can promise you that the next guy that is going to work on this motorcycle and needs to take this brace off will reap the benefits of what we've just done there. Because I've struggled for almost 2 hours to get that bolt out the first time when I stripped this engine. So now, with that installed, the next guy will not have that same problem. Thank me for it later. All right. So this needs to go in there. And that looks like a 12, and on this side a 13. That's definitely not a 13. That is a 12, but I think this is a 14 on this side. That's a 14. Let me put a 12 socket on here. Okay guys, and with that, this engine is ready for reinstallation into the scooter chassis. But I want to take this engine and I want to clean it and wash it nicely before I reinstall it into the scooter, because it's still dirty. I think whilst I'm here and this is open, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the hero of the day and just add some copper slip to all of this. And just clean all of this up nicely. Maybe let's put some oil in there. Just some penetrating oil to ensure that this stuff is all nice and movable. There's some hair and things in here, some string. I don't know where this came from, but it's here, so okay. I also had a problem getting the rear wheel off of this axle, and I don't know why. It's not really rusted, though it is a bit dirty, but it is not really rusted. But I had a very bad day trying to get this rim off of this shaft. So what I'm going to do here, I found my other copper slip as well. Here it is. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to add some copper slip to these splines, or the CV joint, if you can put it that way, of the rear wheel that slides into the rim. And by just doing that, it will help a lot. Okay guys, so now I'm going to turn my microphone off. I'm going to pause recording, and I'm going to quickly seal off, like for example the intake manifold. What I usually do, I take a piece of plastic and then I just put the clamp back over it. Something like that will seal that off. I have some of these high pressure fuel filters caps that I can shove over all of these openings. Then I will be able to quickly wash this engine. Let me show you what the other side looks like. That is it is in need of a proper wash. So let me do that. And then what we'll do, we'll come in, we're gonna drop this engine back into the bike, we're gonna mount it, and then we're going to try and fire her up. So I'll see you just now. And now we can take our straps off. Hey. Maybe gonna remove the strap here, but I'll add it to the back here somewhere, because now the motorcycle is much more heavy in the rear than in front. And that causes it to want to tilt over backwards. It's already looking better to me. Can take our little water blocking plastic off, and we should be able to slide the carburetor back in. But I want to use some of my Vaseline just inside this boot. This Vaseline plays two roles. First of all, it's a lubricant for the carburetor to slide in easily, and secondly, it's going to help the carburetor to seal nicely up against that surface where it goes into the intake manifold. This carburetor is a tight fit, guys. Right, let's tighten the carburetor. Whilst I'm busy at the carburetor, I'm going to just reinstall this breather or suction tube onto the intake manifold together with its little clamp. And then when we built the engine, I told you that there's an earth strap that needs to go onto this one specific bolt. That's the reason I didn't tighten this one bolt. Let's put it back into place. There you go. That's tight. This is a plug wire. Don't like the plug wire the way it is routed. I'm gonna reroute it. Plug wire is in. Okay. Let's get these shocks into place. Then the whole thing can stop flopping about. Right, that's in. That is going to be two 14s. I want to mount those two mounting brackets that we've put in there, or mounting bolts. This one at the rear here, this one. And with that, the engine is in, guys. The engine is in, it's mounted. that is the sum total of the mountings this thing has. It's quite simple, eh? So now we should actually be in a situation where we can get this baby fired up. But before we do that, I want to sort out this rear brake cable, because if we don't do it now, it's going to bite us later. Okay, so this is an automatic choke. To be completely honest with you, I really dislike this choke thing. To me, it doesn't really make sense, and to be honest, the automatic choke thing, I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like it really works, but nevertheless. Okay, so let's see what goes for what here. Okay, so the plugs that I've just installed here is the plugs from the magneto, which is basically the charging circuit as well as the lightning circuit. This is the starter relay. Okay, and then this is the coil pack, which should be mounted right there if I'm not mistaken. See, this is an issue when you strip certain things and you don't get around to immediately get the parts and put them back together. Then you end up forgetting what went where and so forth. And usually my boys will typically say, but you know, they want to help me to strip because they can take things apart whilst I'm at work, and then the process is quicker to get the problem solved. And I agree and I appreciate that. But the problem that we have is that, or the problem that I have, is that if somebody else strips the motorcycle, then I don't have any memory of my own of what went where. So that to me is an issue. Okay, so if I'm not very much mistaken, and usually I'm not really, if I'm not very much mistaken, we should now be able to get this motorcycle started. But why is this throttle so sticky? Good grief. The throttle is extremely sticky. Are we going to try it? Should we? Guys, I really don't like this throttle situation. Remember, there's no no exhaust on it. I'm going to have to follow these throttle cables and check where is this thing. Why is it so sticky? I don't think it's in here, but we'll see. Okay, but there you go, guys. It started up. It's running. Let's give it a quick second start and see how long does it take to start now. Instant. Right. This engine is fixed. I'm going to put you on a time lapse now. I'm going to quickly put back the rear wheel, put the exhaust on, and do small stuff. Maybe put the seat back quickly because I want to take it for a ride. I'm just going to quickly make it rideable. All the plastics are still in paint. So let me do that, and then I'll be back with you. So with that then, we have a running scooter. There's a couple of things that still needs to happen here. The exhaust has to be painted. We can't send it off to the owner looking like that. So I'm going to paint the exhaust, and I'm going to paint this standoff cover. I'm also going to paint this little other side of the swing arm, if you can call it that. And then we need to reassemble everything. But for now, see if she runs right with the exhaust on. Very nice and quiet. No leaks. I've got no exhaust leaks. So for now, I think what I'm gonna do is I think I need to take this bike for a little test ride. Just to be sure that she's running right. And then I'll give you my feedback. All right, that's it for the engine build episode of the scooter. I took it for a ride. I went about 8 kilometers with it, rode it for 8 kilometers. Pulls nice and strong. There's no hesitation, nothing wrong. It's nice and quiet. It's got the airbox on everything. So there's a couple of loose little things that still needs to be done. Like you can hear here, the one breather pipe here still needs to be fixed and attached to its location there. Small stuff like that. Here's a little breather hose here that still needs a clamp. But the brakes are very good now since I've adjusted and cleaned and greased all the inner workings of it. So this engine rebuild is successful. It's nice and strong. The old crank will go to the rubbish dump, or the new owner can use it as a paperweight. But for now, small things. The exhaust still needs to be repainted. It's still hot. The standoff plate still needs to be painted. This rear shocks needs to be cleaned. I want to take the flash rust off of them and clean them nicely. And then I'm going to wash this entire thing. Once again, I'm sure you guys are thinking that I'm a bit wash crazy, but I like to give things back to owners in a very good condition. The rest were all done. It's got a new spark plug. You saw everything we did to it. So this episode is complete. Next episode will be assembly of all the plastics. Everything will come together, and then this motorcycle will be complete, and we will also then hand it to the new owner, which is a girl. So look, it's the owner. He bought it for his daughter, so she will be getting this. She is in grade 10 or standard 8 this year, so she's 16 years old. She's got her ID, so she made an appointment to get the learner's license so that she can use this on the public roads, school and back, the school run. That is what these scooters are designed for, and absolutely the best at. I would like to, just before I'm giving it back, I would like to just go and fill up the fuel tank to about 40 kilometers and then fill it up again, just to get a baseline on the fuel consumption of this engine, just for interest's sake. But thanks so much for sticking around. Please tune in for episode 3 and the final episode of the scooter, which will be the complete reinstall of all the plastics and so forth, and the final episode for the scooter. Until I see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.